Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today is different and a bit special because Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Severna Builds here. Today's video is a little different and a bit special because one of my first videos, my third one, just passed 20,000 views on YouTube. That's a huge milestone for me, and I just want to say thank you. Whether you're brand new here or you've been following my laser engraving journey from the start, I really appreciate every single one of you. So to celebrate, I thought we would do something fun and also helpful. Over the past few months, I've gotten tons of great questions from folks on Facebook and YouTube about laser engraving these photos and images on canvases. What kind of canvas I use, how I paint it, what settings work, how to get good results, you name it. So instead of answering them one by one, I asked my wife, hey, can you help me out? Just read these questions off to me and I can answer everything in one place. And if you're already engraving or just thinking about getting into Canvas, I think you will find this super useful. So let's go back inside, get closer to that computer. Let's see if we find Mrs. Builds there somewhere and get started. All right. All right, all right. That wasn't too bad. We found Mrs. Builds, believe it or not. But we're going to start with a check, mic 1, mic 2. Good afternoon from New Hampshire. How you doing, Harvey? Hope you're doing great. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever you guys might be at. We're kind of, doing this a bit of a ad hoc, type of just having a little fun here. We are celebrating, and it's a huge milestone for me, for the missus. Hey Paul, how you doing? Hey Paul, thank you so much for keeping me straight there as far as the invite goes. I'm going to blame Canva, and we're just gonna leave it like that. But thank you so much for being here. So as we're perusing through YouTube, we're doing our thing. All of a sudden the wife says, hey, did you notice that one of your first videos is got 20,000 views? And it didn't click with me. It absolutely it's just, it makes no sense. So through this kind of news, we're trying to assimilate what it means, and it's just incredible because 6 months ago, none of this was even part of the parlance, views, YouTube, all this stuff, live streams, simply because we were just not thinking like that. So as we decided to come online and celebrate, we thought, listen, why don't we just do it a little bit different? Instead of just yapping and just testing the equipment, we do something good. We give back to all those kind people that been following me on Facebook or been watching the videos, and we come up and answer some questions related to canvas engraving. I've received in the last 6 months a ton of love, a ton of support, and a ton of questions. And those questions, started to repeat. And I thought, listen, Mrs. Kloss, Mrs. Builds, if you don't mind reading those off, and I'll do my best to answer them. Maybe we have an evening together, while the little one is sleeping, and we have fun with the folks that joined the live stream. So what do you think of that idea? And by the way, we're testing the equipment. I think is very echoey sometimes. So you guys, please forgive us. We are learning with you. Thank you so much. But the missus is a little nervous. She still doesn't want to turn on the camera, but maybe she'll turn the microphone just to say hello. Hello, 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 everyone. You get it? Yeah, thank you for words, and we can. Can you hear me now? Hello. I'm muted. Technical difficulties there. Are you unmuted? You said, right? Yes, I am unmuted. All right. Well, she says hello. She gives her best. Hello, hello. I don't know if you guys can tell me if the microphones can can hear us. You guys can hear us okay or not? But um, right. So this is the video that we were talking about. This is the third video, right? Third video that we uploaded, 20,000 views. And like I said, this was not something that we set out to do. This is just something that's totally surprising us, and it's huge. So we're here to celebrate with you guys. Now, this one in particular, I was super nervous, to be honest with you, when I set out to put this one together because I didn't know what to expect. The first two, they're a blur. I upload them, rather record them, upload them. And then the third one was the one where I was like, okay, what's going on? Like, I don't know if you've been driving for a couple of miles and somehow down the road you find yourself thinking, how did I get here? So in this video, I was at that point. I was at that moment. So 20,000 for that one. Number 3, right? What is interesting is that we also noticed that the first one is not too far behind. The first one is the learning laser engraving on painted canvas, right? That was uploaded on the 8th of January, and it is close to 19,000 right now. Super amazing. And then the second one, I fixed my laser engraving mistakes. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun. A lot of mistakes. I could have done, 2 hours on that alone. But I tell you, I don't even know how I managed to record, how I managed to upload those, just because it's just incredible to me. So, are you back with the microphone there, Mrs. Builds, or still shy? Can you hear me right now? I don't know. Let's ask Paul, Harvey, anyone else. Can you hear Mrs. Builds there? I see all the lights green, everything moving. Yes, but very quiet. All right, we'll figure something out there with microphone. Say something else, fun. Yes. Hey, 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 hey. I'm here. I don't know what's going on. It should work everything. All right, we'll figure it out there as we go along. Maybe you can yeah, we'll figure it out. Just I don't know if you need to just plug it, unplug it. I don't know. Okay, I'll try. Yeah. In the meantime, we're gonna get started. So anyway, so these are the three ones that I tell you, they've been great, and they've done a lot better than I expected. See, and the fact of the matter is that um, can you? It's a little better. Okay, now, do it again. Now, hey. A little better, they say. Okay, but can you hear me what I'm saying, or? I cannot hear you, but I can hear you here live. So, yes. So yeah, so we're here to celebrate. What do you think of the 20,000? Oh, it's amazing. I haven't expected that. Yeah, yeah. Like this is truly success. Something else. Something else. Yeah. So yeah, why don't we get started? what do we come here for? We got a bunch of questions. We got We'll do our best to answer them. If you have any questions of your own, please make sure that yeah, she speaks softer than me. Yeah, definitely, which is a good thing, I hope. But if you guys have any questions specific to this process of canvas engraving, I tell you, uh, yeah, that's what I think too, Paul. So we got the microphone is picking up the echo from me too. So what can you say? I'm on a Windows machine, a PC, and she's on a MacBook. So I tell you. But why don't we start with some of the questions?
Yeah, let's go into it and start into it. So let's start with that first question. How did you get into laser engraving?
How did I get into laser engraving? Right. Laser engraving was something that was not part of my, awareness as an individual. I've been in IT for the last almost 30 years, and during COVID, I decided to, get busy with some hobbies and trying to get some stuff done. And as I did that, I started buying equipment, buying machines, and then I bought a laser engraver, a 5 watt. I'm not gonna say the brand so they don't get free advertisement, but you'll see some of the pictures here. A 5 watt machine. That the point of that machine was to work with my CNC. I was making cutting boards, as you do, and the point of that machine was to help me with the engraving. Well, soon enough, I found out that I was not going to be able to do much of anything, not quick anyway. And I saw online people doing reviews, xTool this, xTool that, and finally the xTool S1 showed up. That one got my attention because of the price. It was attainable. To be honest with you, I was looking at the P2, and that one, money wise, that's a little more than I was able to afford at the time, or that I was willing to afford. I had shell out some pretty good cash for the CNC, and yeah, but the S1 started to engrave all sorts of crazy things, started to cut all sorts of crazy things, and yeah, I was trying to learn a little more, and I went on Facebook just to kind of check things out, and I actually saw someone doing some pretty neat engravings with we forgot this slide, the Q&A slide. I worked so hard on this one and I forgot to click on that one. But I saw someone on Facebook, and they had a picture of this lion in color, and they said they did it with an S1. Now this one is not the same. I don't think so. I put the example image there just because you know I would hate to call out someone for something they didn't do, whether positive or negative. But I saw this similar image, and I'm thinking, I did not know that a machine, a laser, could do this. Now, the person that posted it, I noticed they were talking about the S1, and I'm thinking, wow, that there's no way, because the math wasn't mathing, you know. So that really got my attention, and then I headed to YouTube, and I found a video from the Edge of Tech. Um, great find, great find. It could be Zachary Mervish too, because he was one of the big ones. I met him after we talked after, and I was checking some of his stuff, and he was also doing lions. That's another thing that repeats often: the big cats. I did 2 or 3 big cats myself when I first started, so I don't know what that, you know, that drawn, that magnet to the big cats is. But as I said, it got my attention. I went to YouTube. I found this guy, The Edge of Tech. Great channel, by the way. Lots of solid content. And that's when the light bulb basically went off, and I started testing. and working on my own technique. You see the picture at the bottom there. Those were my first two canvases that I started painting, and fell in love with it. Then I took a couple of pictures. Rather, I went to ChatGPT and start making some of those pictures there with ChatGPT, and I just couldn't believe how the technology was moving along, and me, a technology guy, felt like, my goodness, where is this going? Um, and yeah, went back to the garage, experimented, kept you know messing up a lot, and eventually I felt pretty comfortable. Um, yeah, good contrast in the markings. Yes, yes, indeed. It's a technique. It's art, and a little science, and I truly felt like this thing was just the greatest. Um, I'm not gonna say that I knew right then and there what was going to happen, but as I started uploading my results to Facebook, I didn't expect a whole lot. Maybe a like from a friend, but people were incredibly kind, and they really liked the engravings. And then the questions started to roll in. Uh, One day, the wife just casually said, "Hey, you should upload a video showing how you do this." I wasn't really sure. I didn't really want that level of exposure. I figured, hey, nobody's gonna watch it. So, I was a little concerned that people at work were gonna find me and see me, and I didn't want to show that side of me. So, but then again, who's gonna watch this stuff? So, fast forward 6 months, um, we got over 3,200 subscribers. Like I said, my third video, 20,000 views rather. Um, so yeah, just crazy. That's the story. What else we got?
Yeah. Um, let's go into another question that we received.
Okay.
Is, do you need a special kind of canvas? How do you prep it?
Right. Special canvas, and how do I prep it? Just in case you guys could not hear. Right. When I first got started, I bought this stretch canvases. I'm pointing, just in case you guys can see it there. Um, the ones with the wooden frames, at my local hardware store. They worked really well at first, but I ended up with the batch that were not really that good. A lot of bumps, a lot of imperfections. The frames were all over the place. So, and also they're a little bulkier. So as you start storing them, I have a small shop. I start running out of space pretty quick, not because of that, but everything else. Just every little thing adds, right? And to be honest with you, these ones were more expensive. Paul, you're in this part of the world. I don't know if you recognize the brands of the paint or the brands of the canvases, but yeah, they started adding up pretty quick. So, and as I got a little better, I start noticing this, imperfections, and yeah, so I decided I'm gonna go with something else. And right next to the frames, the stretch canvases, they got the panels, same brand, still 100% cotton, just thinner and frameless. And so they're easier to store. Of course, they cost less, and I didn't have the same issues as with the frame ones. So um, that was kind of like an easy transition. You know, I really liked the way that the engravings are done on the stretch ones. I feel like that thin material with no backing. Uh, I felt like I got better results, but again, I wasn't really, I mean, if I was making this stuff for someone, I probably, try to be a little more careful, but it was for me, for testing. And then once I started getting those likes, I was like, I'll continue to upload them. So I transitioned to those panel ones. As for prep, not really much as far as prepping. I mean, as I said, I got a little wiser when it came to checking things. Just visual inspection. Often I did it at the store because I learned the hard way. So I just went in there as I'm going through the batches of this canvases, just checking for blemishes, discoloration, this manufacturing bumps. I mean, some of that cotton was getting was coming out of the surface basically. Um, and I tell you, it, you will get. It's like when you go out and you buy plywood, you really gotta check it, right? Because at the store with the lighting and everything, I think they all look great. Once you get home, you're like, "What is this?" You know. And the problem is some of those bumps as you paint them, put layers and layers, and then you go and engrave it. Those bumps, the paint becomes loose very easily. I've made the mistake of putting one canvas on top of the other while I'm, prepping to start engraving. And yeah, those bumps run out. And then when you try to repaint it, you just can't get to the same spot. So I check it visually, check it at the store, check for bumps, alignment. I have a square there because I was really like upset that day. I mean, I tell you, it was like 3 or 4 in a row that were bad. Then what I do, I blow some air or just wipe it clean, just quick, and then I go straight to painting. I mean, as far as that prep, that's the work I do basically. Next,
All right. Next.
I don't know if I answer your question too. I mean, what is the next one? What if I mess up? Right, I do mess up quite often. That happens very often. But before we go into that one, let me just answer Paul's question here. Do you ever see that the paint on the scratch canvases sometimes cracks? Yes. And because when I got started, I couldn't stop. I was painting at 11 o'clock at night. I was engraving in the winter, um, not minding the temp, not minding the humidity or lack of. And a couple of times flakes and cracks. Now, here on the next slide, uh, where does that click? I really need to change glasses here, Mrs. Claus. So this one is one. I don't feel like I messed up, but Paul, to answer your question on picture number one, that's Cooper, our beagle. He's still a good boy, right? He's sleeping there somewhere as he does 99% of the time. That painting didn't come out as good as I wanted, and it was kind of flaky when it came to the finish. So that one, I was really, really hurting. And Paul, I don't know if it was you, but I was talking to someone else about repurposing, and I was encouraged to just try. And as I saw Cooper there, not as good of an engraving as I hope, I thought I'll take it and just do something different with it. So that was canvas number 2, that you see there in the bottom. I went a little crazy with the colors. I wanted to see what I could get out of it. Um, and I put a lot of layers of different paint, and it came out all right. It came out all right. It's just that yeah, the colors were just not quite there, and the canvas again, the paint was not like sticking as good as I hope. So that's attempt number 2, and then attempt number 3. that is the same canvas, just repurposed, reused. Now that canvas, Paul, um, the lines that you see, those are the cracks that showed up overnight. I don't know if I didn't let it cure long enough or just by then, one, two, three, four. So by then, I think there were like 12 layers of paint that I put by then, maybe 15, because I went fancy with some of these colors. And, but still, I mean, even with the lines, even with the cracks, this is my favorite engraving. Um, I got lucky. I don't know how much more this canvas could have taken. A part of me says that you can just put an infinite number of layers simply because if you tweak your settings just right and you do your measurement, your focusing, it will just peel off those layers that you through the computer will tell it. But it was starting to get pretty thick, yes. And I kid you not, when it came out, I was just so happy because I wasn't expecting anything out of that thing. Um, so I think 4 times would probably be pushing it. I would say twice is the sweet spot. But again, this guy came out just right. So if the problem was something like a bad contrast or like I said, crooked alignments or wrong settings, and there's no physical damage to the canvas. I've seen some videos where people actually burn through it, right? Or if there is any major like warping of sorts, I say it's pretty safe to just start over and paint again. Some people ask me, hey, do you sand it? Do you do anything? No, I just went in, did another layer, just give it a quick wipe, air compressor, and paint again. My process is basically 2 coats of white, whatever colors I want to put in the middle. I guess we're going to cover that later too, but 2 coats of white, whatever color I want to put in the middle, and then 1 coat of black. So do the math. That's a bunch of layers, one on top of the other. Now, keep in mind again, there are a lot of things that play into this, madness of canvas engraving. It could be the canvas, the quality of it, the paint, whether it's fresh paint, old paint. My cans of paint been there for like a year and a half now. Some of them, the weather, how it cured, uh, just a lot of stuff goes into it just on the prepping. And you know I think even if something goes wrong, still kind of adds a cool vintage. I keep calling it vintage vibe to it, and I guess it gives it character. So that was the longest answer.
Yeah. So let's go towards another question.
Yes.
Do it. Can this technique work on other materials?
Can this technique work on other materials? Wood, MDF, stone? Yes. Again, after a few engravings, I'm not the brightest guy around, but I figured, you know, it's layers of paint and then the laser comes and peels off based on your settings the amount of paint that it needs to, because it's, inverted and you're doing black at the end and you're doing from light colors to dark colors. I figured why not try on different mediums, right? So from canvases, I think I moved to MDF right away. And then, which is not listed here, I just noticed. I also tried it with plywood and, of course, with stone. And yeah, it worked out great. But each material, of course, will need its own prep just to get good results. Um, the overall idea is still the same. You paint, put the layers, right? You engrave, and then eventually you will reveal. but the difference how you prep the surfaces, because it will make a difference. For example, for MDF, I always start by sanding it lightly, but sanding it, right? And then I apply primer. MDF is notorious for soaking up paint. So if you don't do that, you'll be there, painting and going over different layers for quite a while. I learned that the hard way. I built a couple of pieces of furniture with MDF, and yes, I learned that you better spend a good amount of time priming once, twice. On these sheets, there were 3 millimeter sheets, the ones that I was using. They had a bit of a shine to them. So I start, by not doing the sanding, and I ended up with some results that were not all that great. And then once I start sanding the MDF, it worked out better. I got smoother colors, less bleeding. So that worked out really good. With plywood, you got to give it a quick sanding, mostly to get rid of some of those splinters or rough patches. I started with kind of like rough plywood. So, some of that glue was coming through. You had some splinters. So I just went ahead and started sanding it just lightly. And then again, paint, dry, and engrave. With stone, well, that was a little bit trickier. I had this coasters, slate coasters, and I start painting them, testing them with the same pictures that I had tested the other materials. And I uploaded some of those pictures, and I did not know this. I guess it caused a bit of a, not controversy, but there's some people that are strong supporters of keeping the stones as natural as possible. They will allow you to do a quick sanding, a bit of a top coat, and then you do the engraving. Just a light normal engraving, and then top coat again and let it be. So there I was, all happy with, I think, my elephant. You see it in the picture there, in the cat, and I uploaded it, and I received a lot of negative comments like, "What did you do? You ruined the stone. The absorption of the liquid is going to be all messed up. The water will run off. Et cetera, et cetera. Is gonna get damaged quicker." But we liked it. The missus liked them, and we never really used them. We got them, there as a display, but
Decoration.
like a decoration. Yeah, yeah. And we liked it, but many folks were not very happy with it, and they keep my stuff to myself. I suppose at that point they were telling me so. So if you're planning to sell some of this stuff or gift some of the stones specifically, just you, you've been warned, right? Not everyone is going to love it, and the fact that you cover it in paint might not be welcome by everyone. But to answer the question again, yes, this method should work across different materials, but each one will require its own amount of preparation and routine. Next question.
All right.
You're still muted, I think.
Doesn't work. Can a 5-watt laser do this?
Can a 5-watt laser do this? Um, Being that I owned a 5-watt laser, I'm going to tell you that yes, yes. The only difference is going to be that it's going to be a little slow. I'm also thinking this particular laser, again, I'm not going to say the brand, but you can read it there. This particular laser did good, very good, but the quality of the engravings, I wanted to keep it and give it another life. And once I start engraving canvases and all this stuff with my S1, I plugged it back in. I was putting it back together. You can see my kitchen there. And It did okay. The quality of the engraving wasn't that great. I have both modules for that particular model of engraver, um, but yeah, it, it it has its limits. You know, a 5 watt diode laser can engrave canvases if you got, you know, the right image and everything else painted, and you got your speed and power settings dialed in, but just don't expect it to be like super fast, or the details to be ultra fine, because it's just not going to be able to do it. But I think is a great way to start. Definitely a great way to start. Uh, we got our baby boy here, Cooper, crying. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Yeah, I'll pick up a question here from Paul. Right. So Paul is asking me what software did I use. I use Lightburn with this one. Um, I made a video about the S1 and what it's like to own it for a year. It was an honest review. I didn't really have anything bad to say about the S1, to be honest with you. Why? Because I came from that 5 watt laser engraver. And as good as that machine was, it was a flip phone, and the S1 is an iPhone. Not offense to the manufacturer, um, but it's just the way it is. Now, that machine in particular is an open frame machine. The enclosure I bought, the exhaust, the air assist, all that stuff I bought to make that machine kind of like what the S1 was out of the box. And that machine, the one on the left, I think I paid a couple hundred euros. But at the end of the day, when I bought everything and the second module, right, because the first module was great for engraving, but forget about trying to cut anything. You just couldn't cut anything. And then I bought the second module, which was supposed to help with the cutting. Um, yeah, no can do. So to be honest with you, moving to the S1 and transitioning into the whole, you know, um, what do they call it? Like the whole ecosystem for xTool, um, XCS included, XCS included. Um, I was a diehard Lightburn man. You know, there were some scripts, there were some, you know, little things that you could modify and DIY your way through some of that code, um, through the console and all that good stuff. Whereas all that learning I haven't applied whatsoever since I got the S1. So sadly and happily, because again, I was a diehard fan of Lightburn. I'm still a diehard fan of Lightburn, but XCS has gotten much better. There's some times that I need to go back to Lightburn when some of the images need a little more tweaking, or I'm playing with you know, vectoring a little more in detail. But I find myself going back to Lightburn less and less and sticking with XCS. This is not paid advertisement. I have no connections with xTool other than being a customer, but it has changed the way that I do things. Again, I'm an IT guy, so back in the day, I used to build my own computers, and I used to spend hours trying to figure out, you know, how to do pretty much anything on those machines. I went to school at a public university, and I could get parts from the lab because I was part-time working in the computer lab, and I was putting together those machines. And I stopped enjoying myself once I got the machines running 100%, because I'm more of a tinker. You know, I like to be there trying to figure things out. So that was kind of like a similar experience with the machine on the left. the xTool is closer to owning a MacBook or a new Dell machine that just came out of the box, a huge, huge difference. So, yeah. Thank you, Paul. Right. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that F1. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, I mean, credit should go where the credit's due, and those guys, I think they know what they're doing. The xTool folks, I think yeah, they really got it. They really got it down to a system. I've heard complaints, of course, but you hear complaints about iPhones and you hear complaints about other things. So naturally, there are going to be people there that are not, too excited or too happy with what they got. So let me jump to the next question before Mrs. Claus comes back here. Right? Is it hard on the laser? Um. Oh, there she is. She's back. I went ahead without you. Um. Is it hard on the laser and can it damage it? The I'm gonna give you a long answer again. Not really. I mean, engraving on the painted canvases is actually pretty okay on the laser, pretty gentle compared to, I'd say, cutting wood or those machines that can cut acrylic. I think this laser engraving um, is minimum when it comes to being able to hurt the machine. That said, you just got to make sure that you got a couple of things, you know, in your process. After a few engravings, some of these engravings can take 1 hour, hour and change. So after a few hours, I recommend getting in there. The picture there in the middle was only, I say that was like 3, 4 engravings. Now, part of my process, I tend to do 2 passes, right? So overall, and with the air assist on, the dust wasn't so bad. But I have a picture. And the only reason why I didn't show the other picture was because the colors were really washed. Um, I let it run for maybe 4, 5 larger engravings, and the dust was caking on the side there of the laser. The picture on the left, that's the exhaust. That's the exhaust in the back of the S1. And that picture I took a week ago when I was doing my maintenance, deep maintenance, because I do the regular maintenance on the module, but I went deep on the rails. I went deep on the base. Of course, I took the honeycomb out. Made a video also, guys. If you want to check it out, is there. Uh, but that exhaust in the back, it was very difficult to remove because all that dust was caked in, and all that dust is burnt paint. So it got on my clothes. It got on. I had to wear gloves after that. It got on the floor. This thing just came out, and it kept coming out of the hose of the exhaust. I have an inline exhaust that I bought from xTool as well, but even then, you got all that stuff. So my recommendation is just making it a habit to clean your machine. I would say every 4 engravings, 5 engravings, get there, clean it up. Maybe once a month, get in the back and check your exhaust. Of course, your mileage might vary, um, but just the basics of wiping down the lens, the rails if you need it. You'll see right away if things are kind of flying a little too much. And yeah, that should take care of things. It's like I think I was telling you, it's like changing oil in your car. Just like routine maintenance will keep you straight. You know what I mean? So, Paul said that Lightburn is his nemesis. There was a bit of a learning curve for me, but once I got this into it, um, I tried some of the open source. I tried some of the other stuff, but I was like, Then I paid for Lightburn. I think I paid like 2, 3 times, and like I said, I find myself using it less and less because I'm using XCS so much. and I hated XCS. I was thinking, what is this? At the beginning when I first got the machine. So, Mrs. Builds, you're back. What else you got for us?
Oh, no. Here's another question.
Yeah.
If you recommend xTool.
Do I recommend xTool? Right. Again, this is not a paid advertisement. I'm a small potatoes. I'm just a user, a customer. But I had to say, yep, I'm very happy with my S1. I think it's very user friendly. Um, I think the safety features that come with it, sometimes they get in the way of getting things done, but they're there for a reason. If you open that lid, it will stop everything. A couple of weeks ago, when I was cleaning my machine, I was trying to remove the bottom tray. I was trying to remove that bottom tray before when I was setting up the RA2 because I didn't have enough clearance, enough space to do some of those bigger tumblers. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's well thought out. Some of the stuff is there. I mean, they're there for a reason. It's the same thing. They got to put some labels in Clorox, right? Don't drink Clorox. Some of the safety features are for a reason. Actually, one of the last updates of XCS, I saw something about for the European Union, something along the lines of, this machine requires additional training, special training. So yeah, um, I've actually, like I said, made a video of my honest review after a full year. If you're thinking about getting a machine, as far as a laser, I in the video I said the same thing. If you want to start with a cheaper machine, with a machine that is a little slower, as a matter of fact, today I was talking to someone about purchasing the xTool S1, but the 20 watt. What I told that person was, yes, the 20 watt can do exactly what my 40 watt can do. The only thing is that it's a little slower. The power is not there, of course, in comparison to the 40 watt. But if money is not so much of an issue, or you can save a little more, get up to that next level 40 watt. Because once you start going in different routes, doing different things, I think the gentleman was saying, hey, I just want to do some keychains, I want to engrave some boards or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. But I told him, once you start going down the path of finding new things to do, you're going to start wishing for, why didn't I just buy the next thing? Why didn't I just get the next thing? And jokingly, I said, I've found myself in that situation a few times in my life. Why didn't I get the better car? Why didn't I buy that? The bigger computer, or why didn't I go to a better university? I could have just done those things. So I learned to cry once. So, but again, get the machine that fits your workflow, your budget, which is very important nowadays, right? But I can tell you that xTool has worked great for me, and um, it just makes sense. So I will recommend it. As a matter of fact, a few people have bought a few machines based on the fact that they wanted to start engraving canvases. I felt a bit responsible, a bit of the weight on the shoulders, but I know those people are going to be happy with that machine. As far as I'm concerned, again, you can do it with a 20 watt. Um, but if you got the 40 watt and you start engraving canvases, naturally you're going to move on to other things. You want to cut things and you want to, do other things, and you're going to be very happy with that machine. So yes, I totally recommend it.
Right, great. How big of a picture can you do?
Right. Well, that all depends on the size of the machine, what you can fit on that um, what's called enclosure. An open frame will allow you to kind of fit a little more, right? If you got the S1 with the riser bed and that little pass-through thing that you use for the conveyor belt, which, by the way, I found out it wasn't available here in Europe for some reason. Um, they didn't post it on the website. Um, so when I start unboxing it, I realized that it wasn't there, but I guess it's not available here for some reason. But yeah, it's just a matter of what you can fit in the bed of the. I don't remember the size of the bed of the S1, but here's the thing too. I mean, even if I could fit something bigger, So my engravings already take 1 hour. With that second pass, it might take another 30 minutes. It comes down pretty much to how long you want to stand in front of the machine. It's a good idea to stick around, not to go too far away. If you want to engrave larger engravings and you have a bit of a limitation when it comes to size, you can always just do it by pieces. Split your design in three or fours, and that way you'll fit it, and then you'll have some pretty fancy, what they call those, I don't, the triptychos, triptych, I don't remember what they're called, when you have one whole picture but they're divided in three different, split in three different canvases. um Personally, I try to balance the size and that engraving time. It's going to take several hours. I guess I would really need to love that image, or know someone that will really, really love that image, to kind of, dedicate that amount of time. So, alrighty, what else you got?
What kind of paint do you use?
What kind of paint? Oh my goodness! You know what? We were talking about the S1. I had the next. I got so into it. I got the next one here. Can you go back to the whether or not I recommend the xTool so we can match it for the video? I can edit it, I suppose. I know, but this is a live stream, so I cannot edit it. But no, no, no. Go back on the question whether or not, yeah, on the banner, whether or not I would recommend the xTool. Um, so I would totally recommend it. It's a great value. They're easy to work with. Support is great. In one of the videos, I had said that I will leave the links for those end caps that you put to protect the laser. So you got this little end caps, right? But I went to their website and I couldn't find them, and I was like, for the life of me, I know that I saw this caps, safety caps, and I went to Amazon and I found some, you know no name, no brand caps, but the reviews were pretty awful, and I felt like I cannot put this, in good faith. Then you buy 12 of them for $15, and then you come back to me and you will complain. So I went and start doing something else, and I completely forgot to add that link. And then someone called me out in the comments of the video, or that maintenance video, and the guy says, "Hey, you said you were going to put the link to the caps. Where is it?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness, what do I do now?" I email xTool support. 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm emailing xTool support. 6 o'clock of my morning. God knows what time it's over there where they are. Midday, they replied to me and they basically told me, "Hey, listen, these are compatibles with the D1, with the M1. Here's the link. Thank you. Let me know if I can do anything else." And I'm like, "Okay." Check the link. Yeah, the OEM end caps, they match all those laser engravers. So and there you go. It was an easy kind of answer for them, but they could have just say, "Who are you?" Because I say, "Hey, listen, I uploaded a video and I forgot to include the link because I couldn't find the stuff." But they replied, very nice, very kind, and that was it. So I've seen them replying to people on the Facebook groups for xTool Facebook groups. So I think they're doing okay. I know people will have nightmare experience, as you do with even Apple. So anyway, we can move to the next one. I just forgot that I had that one there, that slide. So the next banner,
So we go towards painting.
a painting.
paints
Hey,
do you apply? Yes.
you sure that's the what kind? No, what kind of paint do you use? I got it. Yeah. So what kind of paint do I use? To be honest with you, this is a little bit of a situation because I had this rack there packed with paint because I was doing some other stuff with MDF. Like I said, I was building other things. I was making little trinkets with the previous laser, and nothing special. Big box stuff. Bauhaus, if you know Bauhaus from this side of the world, or Hornbach. I was just going there. They are the equivalent of Home Depot. And just for other projects, I picked up acrylic. Um, in the did you click on?
Yes, I clicked on one question that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Let me just finish with the paint, right? So nothing major, nothing fancy, just a big box place spray acrylic matte, right? Not glossy. That glossy stuff got pretty stinky, pretty smoky. So I learned pretty quick. I guess in the states, Rust-Oleum or that Krylon or whatever you have in Menards or Home Depot or not need for anything fancy. So what was the question? Can you highlight it again? Because I missed it. With a conveyor, you can only do up to 3 and 1/8 thick material. Yeah. See, I'm still a little sore about that whole um, conveyor thing. But I've seen people opening it and just putting some larger canvases. But for the life of me, I'm just thinking, I don't want to sit there for more than 1 hour. My ankles, yeah, my back, my elbow, my shoulder, everything hurts. So no, I don't partake on larger ones. But yeah, I'm a little sore about that one, Harvey. What else you got there, Miss Built?
Oh, you are in base.
I'm based close to what? How can I say it without you know in Central Europe? In Central Europe, I'll ping you on the side there, Paul. Just we want to keep it personal for now, but in Central Europe, not too far from you actually. All right.
Let's move towards the question.
Yep.
Um, how many layers of paint?
Right. Layers. Well, I told you guys a little earlier, my standard process start with 2 coats of white, followed by, whatever colors in the middle and a coat of black. That's my base setup. So 2 coats, I learned from someone and then, I can attest that it works. 2 coats, keep your I did it for the frame ones, for the frame canvas, primarily because 2 coats will give you an extra layer thin protection for those canvases. So 2 coats of white, and then black at the end, right? Because we're inverting that image. Um, if I'm inverting a color image, I'll add whatever color I need in between the white and the black. I'm always going from light to dark, and I'm losing my mind there. Um, and the main thing that I keep it light when it comes to the spraying, to the layers, um, and I let the picture dictate the colors, of course. So, for example, in the microphone one, the one with the cracks, I went with white, then 2 coats of white, 1 coat of yellow. I think I did red, and then I did black. So that was for that one. When I'm working on black and white photos, I usually do 2 coats of white. Again, you can argue with me whether it's necessary or not. I got used to doing it, and I feel a little more protected with that extra layer of white coat. But when I'm working with black and whites, right? So 2 coats of white, 1 coat of I do gray or anthracite or gray, right? Light gray or dark gray, whatever. Um, and then I do a coat of black. Now, the gray layer is total personal preference. Um, I feel that it gives it I don't know. People say it's not necessary. Some people say that openly, but I feel like it softens those midtones if I can get artistic here. Um, and I had already a lot of gray paint there, so I was like, "What am I gonna do with this stuff?" So I thought it gave it like a nice feel to it. I should test it. You know, do I need the 2 layers of white? Do I need that grade in the middle? I like it. It is working pretty good, and I've been getting a lot of good results and good comments from people. So now it's part of my default for the black and white. So there you go. Next one.
How long do you wait for the paint to dry?
Right. That's a huge one too. I mean, again, there are many variables, but I feel like this is one of those that you really, really can't rush. I wait at least a couple of hours. A couple of hours between the coats. I guess if it's a little more humid outside, I wait a little longer. Um, the main thing is that I read the can. I just read the labels. And most of the manufacturers will tell you right then and there, how long to wait. Some of them will make you go to their website, but for the most part, I tend to wait around 2 hours, 4 hours. If I have a break, I run to the garage, do 1 layer, wait a couple hours, check it again, and then eventually, when I get all my coats in, I let it sit overnight. I just let it cure, and it's all kind of like a bit science, a little bit of a feeling, the process, and I feel like 2 3 hours, and then I go in, check it, touch it. If it's not tacky at all, I go to the next layer, and then once I get to the black layer, that's where I stop. uh I let it go overnight. Often I let it go a little longer just because I got the work in the morning, and then when I'm done 5:30 or so, 6 p.m., I go back in and start engraving. So yeah, that's my process, giving me pretty consistent results too, and I feel that is a huge help to avoid those flakings and those cracks. What else?
Another one? Green sauce?
I thought there was another one before, but okay, all right. So my technique, right? Just like the picture says, light passes. I keep a nice distance, right? So um, I'd say 10 to 12 inches. Somebody else once told me, "Hey, just get your standard can of paint and just put the bottom of it close to the surface and calculate that the top of that can will be the necessary 20 centimeters or whatever it is, 10 to 12 inches away from it." And I just do left to right, up and down. I may have taken something out of your kitchen.
I know that.
That lazy Susan that you were not using. You said you were gonna make cakes. I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but then I had to use it. I was gonna build one myself, but then I saw that one doing nothing. I took it out of the box, took it to the garage, and for like 10 months, I was using it for different things, and so I use that to rotate it, so I just keep up and down, left or right, and when you have that, you don't have to worry about the up and down or left or right so much. And also I avoid pulling that stuff, so it can get out of hand. So I have like a pretty consistent, wrist movement now, where I know exactly what and how much to stay in one position. And then of course I work in a pretty ventilated area. The other day I was spraying outside, and one of my neighbors was like, "What is that? What is that?" I could see it walking around, and I'm going nuts with the paint there for the MDFs. But well ventilated area, and just don't overspray. And then of course turn your can upside down, spray it a couple of times, and that will clean the nozzle, and you can just store it so you can use it next time. All right. Next one.
How do you decide what colors to use?
Well, that's like I said earlier, that's basically dictated by the picture that I'm using. If I'm using a black and white picture, I go with gray, white, and black, or black, gray, and white, right? From light to dark. If I have a black and white picture, I'm not gonna use red necessarily, but I guess some fancy artistic types would mix and get great results with other things. But I keep it pretty simple. You give me a black and white picture, I use black and white with that gray in the middle. If you give me a color like our Lord and Savior there, um, yeah, that was I was using, just to get that copper tone. I used the white, of course, to start. Then I use red, and then I use brown, and then I use black. And then for the microphone, like I said, I used white, yellow, brown, red, and black, or red, brown, and black. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, the picture definitely is what dictates the color. And just remember, you got to go from light to dark, and I guess just have fun with the process, experiment. You might end up with something really cool and neat. I really love that Jesus one. I made another one of that Jesus from the Rio. Is it the Rio Jesus or Sao Paulo Jesus? I don't remember. Rio Jesus? Yeah. That turned out really, really, really good. So I really like that one. So you can end up with some vintage looks, super cool vibes. So experiment. I guess it's all about your mood and what kind of tickles you, right? Alrighty.
Where do you get your pictures?
Where do I get my pictures? Yes, of course. People love, I was gonna have to mention them. I get them from Creative Fabrica. I was getting from some other websites, but I didn't like the inconsistency of some of this stuff, and I felt kind of weird sometimes not knowing where some of this stuff were coming from. I do have an iPhone, one of the latest ones, and I get some pretty good pictures. I made a couple of engravings that way too, but I use Creative Fabrica for everything. Now, the only thing is that nowadays they're getting a little flooded with a lot of AI images, you know. But if you go through the filtering, you can filter for non-AI, you can filter for black and white photos only, and you can fit also I don't know if the DPI or the dimensions. So they're making it really easy. And again, I don't use them just for the engravings. I was buying a lot of stuff through Etsy, and you know not a tremendous expense. As I think some of the most expensive stuff were those package deals that I was getting for Christmas to engrave, like Christmas decorations or for Halloween or whatever. And I was paying like $10 or $7, or some of those designs you pay $2. But with Creative Fabrica, you pay once a yearly amount, and then you get fonts, you get pictures, you get SVGs or whatever other files you get for whatever project you're working on. So yeah, that's my go-to place. What else?
All right, I see Paul has a question.
All right, show me.
Do you spray specific areas or do you spray the whole canvas?
Yeah. So I don't know if you recall. I'm gonna get lost, but let's see. So this one is the Creative Fabrica one, right? So I'm gonna go back in time here, right? See if I can go here. Here, this bad boy here, picture number 2. I went and got a little fancy. I sprayed, where I thought the sun was going to be utilized better. I sprayed where the sea was supposed to be a little darker, so I went a little darker. And then, I went with the black. Of course, that was my last layer, and that purple or pink. Um, So I did spot paintings for those. I did a painting for a horse, one of my first horses, also colored, and I also spot painted. It worked out all right, I suppose. But I felt more like a Dali, like a Picasso, like a Da Vinci, just putting my colors here because I was using like a little board to keep me from spraying the other sides. I I don't know necessarily if there is much of an advantage versus. I mean, I guess you're not spending that much paint. I guess that's an advantage. But the machine, I don't know if it will understand it differently. I like the way it turned out. Again, this picture number 2 here, I did it like that. I liked it. I think I went just a little crazy with the settings. I think I went a little too hot. And then what I did by mistake, I think I did a second pass, and that second pass just completely ended up, deleting or removing a lot of that paint. So yes, I've done it, Paul. It works, and I guess if I was just kind of dedicating a little more time, it would probably yield some pretty good results. And again, I would say paint, um, but it was the horse. It was this one, and I don't remember if I did another like one of those vintage microphones or the cars with a sunset, something crazy. No, it was a Vespa, like an Italian scene with the sea, some rocks, and a Vespa. But that one also didn't work out too good, so I didn't want to show it. So, so yeah, it is doable. Let me see if I can go back to where I was. Uh, right, so I just read that. So I let the picture dictate the colors, right? Create a fabrica, and what pictures work best, right? High DPI, good contrast, focused, good quality images. Um, you know, the main thing is that I totally recommend doing black and white to start. Get your time in, put in the time there, learning with black and whites. Then you can move on to colors. 300 DPI. Yeah, just a clear, focused, good contrast, and the machine is gonna love you for that. You get too fancy with a little blurries or not so clear, defined colors or too many colors. You're probably going to end up with something that's not gonna be to your liking 100%. I know that a few people. You see that turtle up in the top? I've seen that turtle on Facebook a few times, and so far, challenge I challenge everyone that is listening here and my future viewers of this video also. I challenge you to get that one done and show me your results. It's also in one of my tests. I tried to do it myself, and I did something that I was putting the colors in different layers via the software. We're gonna talk software here in a second, but even then it was challenging. I used Affinity. Photo and Affinity. What is it called? Affinity Designer. I don't remember. Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer 2. And even then, it was a challenge. So, yeah, those are the pictures that I feel work the best.
Right. Can I just use a photo from my phone?
Can I use a photo from my phone? Yes, you can. But again, if you have an older phone, and I mean older phone, 5 years ago, they're still going to do quite all right. If you got a newer iPhone or a new Samsung Galaxy or whatever, of course you can. But again, keep in mind the same thing: good contrast, good quality, in focus, and you'll get a pretty good picture. And again, black and white. If you can go back to black and white, start with black and white rather. That's the way to do it.
Next one. Do I need special software?
To get this done, no, not necessarily. As I said, I use Lightburn. I've used xTool. I use Affinity. Now, Affinity is the cheaper version of your Photoshop. I love the fact that you just pay once instead of like this monthly. I bought it for other projects. The same thing with Lightburn, but Lightburn and XCS, I feel, is all you need. You can go and use some of those open source online, and I've seen a lot of people doing a lot of tweaking. But what I do with my pictures, because again, I follow that same kind of recipe I'm giving you guys. I get good quality, focused image, start with black and white, that kind of stuff. That the editing is minimum. I bring it into XCS. If it's too big, I try to shrink it, or if I want to cut a specific area just to fit just right in my canvas, because I measure the canvas, right? So then I built this little box that mimics the canvas, and then I put my picture inside just to see what areas of that picture are going to look better. Within XCS, I go in, I size it, I cut it to whatever size I need. I then edit the picture, and all I do is just the contrast, bring it a size I can. I think 50 is a max. And then I tweak the grayscale a little bit. If there is a picture that I really like and then it needs more work, I use Affinity. But that's almost never the case. I use XCS. Again, it's got everything I need there for what I need. I'm sure some fancier designers, do something a little extra for their pictures. Well, will fancy designers be doing this laser engravings? I don't know. They might. But I don't use anything else other than the four things that are here. And the reason I just brought out Canva, that bottom one there is Canva. I don't know if you'll be able to see it better if I move there. But I'm gonna remove the question there so you can see it a little better. That is Canva, and the reason why I brought it up is because Canva now owns Affinity. So they online. I also have a subscription to Canva, and I don't have any affiliate links or anything, so I can speak freely. Yeah, great stuff. Great. I have a ton of fun there working with that software. Right. What else you got?
Do I need to edit the photo before engraving?
All right. Well, again, yeah, I only use XCS, so I don't do much editing of the pictures beyond what I explained. I just resize it. I might tweak it a little bit. There was one that I needed to turn a little bit, but then I just go into the contrast and then the grayscale, a little bit from the left, a little from the right, or from the left, from the right, and that's about it. I mean, and then I send it through the motions. That's about it.
What settings do you use?
The settings, right? That's the top question, right? Well, my settings, based on the way I do things, if I go here, right? So my settings are pretty straightforward, and the reason I stick to the settings is, listen, I'm not a big time canvas engraving manufacturing guy. I do ones and twos and threes, so I have time to dedicate, to testing and checking things. So what I do, I send it through 10 power, 200 speed, 140 and 180 LPC, depending, and Bayer. That's my go-to. If there's something quick that I want to do, especially black and white, I feel pretty comfortable. I tweak those settings, but that's kind of like my baseline. Then I go to my second pass. And I guess the idea is that I kind of try to inch closer. And I've done it long enough to know that often my second pass on the same type of, canvas with the same paint that I'm using for a simple picture, that second pass, I go a little lower on power. I might do 6 or 8. And then I might go, 300 on speed. And what it does, it actually brings that contrast out a little more. It cleans it up a little nicer. And you got to watch out though. A couple of things. You can't move the canvas from where you you put it when you first started engraving. If you move it, good luck putting it back and getting the engraving right on top of where it was. Good luck with that. So don't forget. I've been tempted so many times. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? So I keep it where it needs to be. That's number one. And then number two, sometimes with the S1 lights and the lights of my shop, sometimes I get some phantom situations in my eyes where I think the color is like this or like that, and then I panic. So I take out the flashlight from my phone and just kind of try to angle it a little better so that I can see a little better as to where I might need a little help. But those are my settings, second pass, and that's all the math that I do. Granted, I've done a lot of testing. And every time I engrave something, for example, today, I'm prepping a bunch of MDF and a couple of canvases. I always leave one MDF for testing and one canvas for testing because even I've done this many times. You never know. It's always good to run a quick test and you cry once, I suppose, right? So those are my testing. Hey, listen, before we move on, I've seen a few comments, but I'm not 100% if there are questions there. Show the errors. Yes. This image R, I'm going to highlight that one. Image R is good, and it's free. So it's the right price. That's one of the ones that I hear the most being brought up. And a lot of folks, they want to do this with other machines. They don't know what XCS is, or many people just don't want to complicate themselves installing XCS in their machines. Or once they do it, rather they don't go and complicate themselves with launching it. They know what they like and they do what they do. So yeah. So now I build a channel showing my mistakes. I tell you. All right. What else? What settings do we have? What else do we have?
Another one, is it hard to get good results?
As with everything, it's just a matter of testing, trying, get a little fancy when it comes to your experimenting. Put in the time. Some days things just fall into place and you are cooking with oil. You're engraving left and right. Everything works and it's amazing. You're going to engrave the third one and something happens. Something is bound to happen. So it's not hard if you put in the time, but you got to give serendipity. You got to pay the tax and she's going to collect. So you just got to stick with it. It's part of the process. It's as Paul says, we all learn from those mistakes. So, and I got a whole collection of them. So, right? What else you got?
How do you market or sell your canvases?
How do I market or sell my canvases? Right. So the thing with the canvases, my canvases are my babies. And I don't sell them. I've had people ask me from across the world if I'd send this canvas that way, but no. I give it to my friends. I give it to my family, people that I care about very much. But if I were to sell, I will start promoting it through Facebook. There's no question. It works. Set up an Etsy account. That's easy. Just put it there, and if it's good quality, if you build it, they will come, right? If it's good stuff, people are gonna ask you about it. Like I said, I've been asked about some of this canvases. You know that little sheep back in the back, the black and white there that in this picture.
Mhm.
Um, you don't know how many times people have asked me about that one. The horse behind, the same thing. Um, Nobody has ever asked me about the microphones. Those are the ones that I really like. Yeah. But yeah, so Facebook Marketplace, Facebook groups, start uploading, start sharing in the groups. Give more than you take. So share your settings, share your process. People will be attracted to the work, and if people comment, you can tag them then later, and then you share the project, the pictures of the project, so the behind the scenes, maybe tell the story of where that idea came from, or why you decided to do this. um People just love to get that extra connection to a piece, and I think it's really cool. I follow a bunch of guys that make a lot of furniture online. And what is cool is when they deliver some of the stuff, and then tell people, hey, listen, this video is for you. I mean, they got like, thousands of views, and this table of yours is the main, attraction of that video. And yeah, it's just fascinating. So create that bond, create that story, create that lore behind your products, and give them away too. Go to your local library, see if they're interested in having some. Those guys don't have budget to buy fancy things, so maybe you donate some of that stuff that you create with all that love, and people will flock to it. That's what I would do. you know so maybe I should start doing that too, but I can't. I mean, I love the way they look on my wall of fame, so it's a nice backdrop, right?
Yeah, I believe this was the last question.
Was that the last question? Hey,
Yes. And what about the tips that you can give?
if you got tips, right? Boy, test, 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 right? Never fails. Dedicate that time to test. Check that canvas for defects, warpings. Um, Mind the weather. Let that paint just dry. Don't rush it. Read the can. Go to the website of the manufacturer. They will tell you. They're not gonna lie to you. They use the product, so just follow what they tell you. Um, Paint behaves completely differently depending on the seasons, the humidity, right? Again, start with black and white images. It makes it a lot easier. The quality of the pictures are hugely important, of course. Um, in the top coat, like a lacquer, just to protect the final engraving. Um, it will make it shine a little more. People sometimes don't care for that too much, but it's a matter of taste and preference. You can always ask. Have the picture with the lacquer and have the other one without it. And then don't be afraid to share the work, right? Um, you never know who you will inspire too. I mean, that's another thing. This Edge of Tech gentleman,
Mhm.
or Vintauri, or any of the laser guys, do they know that we exist? No, but they've done so much for me, for many of you guys. I would assume we use YouTube all the time, right? And yeah, I mean, it's not only about making that dough, right? It's about sharing your passion. And what's amazing is when you find those people that share that same passion. You think you were some crazy guy doing some crazy stuff in your garage, and then you find there's an entire community, huge groups, thousands of people in the xTool groups, thousands of people doing engraving, cutting, all sorts of crazy stuff. And then you thought you were alone in your garage, and you have a whole world out there, right? So don't be afraid to share your work, right? So that's about it for me. I don't know if there are any questions left that we can answer, or yeah, no problem, Harvey. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Well, more of a monologue, but of this exchange. We're just happy to have you guys here, and thanks for being part of this journey, right? When I uploaded that first video, I honestly thought maybe a dozen people would see it. I never expected over 3,200 subscribers, right? 20,000 views on a single video, and 1,000 more across the channel, right? When you take a look, it's just incredible. So what keeps me going is the support I get at home, right? This lovely, lovely, lovely person here next to me. All the questions that you guys sent my way, and the fact that this community is full of people that are truly excited to learn new things. And it's just amazing that they come to this little corner of the internet to learn along with me. So listen, if you found this helpful, leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't done it. If you feel like to share your own canvas engraving experiences, we love to see what you've made, right? Love to see what you're working on also. We love to get inspired by you, and your questions also make us think sometimes in a different way. And just let us know if this was interesting, if this type of setup works for you. If you have any more questions, we can compile them and have a part two. I don't know, maybe we'll fix your microphone and your camera, right? So if you guys don't have anything else and any other questions, I think we can stop right here and right now. But it's been a pleasure. It's been amazing. This whole experience been crazy, and we'll see where we end up. We're working folks. We got family. We're busy, but also we love to come out here, spend time with you guys, and just continue to grow this community. So thank you very much for being here, and I hope we stay in touch. All right, Severna Builds out. So long. Take care, you guys. Bye bye.